Ladies and gentlemen, what's going on? We're about to do the recap and breakdown of UFC 309 John Jones versus Stipe Miocic, which just took place last night on November the 16th, 2024. We're going to start with the prelims and with the main event. We did lose a fight last night. We lost Weidman and Anders, so it's going to be a little bit shorter, but it is what it is. Let's just start with the prelim opener of Eduarda Moura against Veronica Hardy. And Veronica Hardy, I thought, was going to be able to take this fight into deep waters. I thought Eduarda Moura was going to have a bit of a problem. She's been having some problems with weight. She has consistently missed weight, and it's my fault because I did not realize that this fight was taking place at 125. I thought Veronica Hardy was dropping down 10 pounds, because something I read said it was at 115, and then I see Eduarda Moura come in at 125. So, a little bit of an oopsie on my part. Clearly, I didn't read what I was looking for, but Veronica Hardy did take the L, got out-grappled, out-muscled. Eduarda Moura just looked like way bigger than her. She looked completely different. She looked way bigger than 125. She towered over Veronica Hardy. Just a very big frame. And Moura, probably 29, 28, maybe even 30, 27. She just kind of just stormed the gates. Veronica Hardy didn't really have a chance. She was getting tagged up on the feet pretty bad. And anytime that she tried to get a little bit aggressive and she tried to force the pressure, Eduarda Moura took her down and kind of just held her there. And that's where Veronica Hardy still has her problems. She still has problems in the grappling. If she gets taken to the ground, she doesn't exactly have the best way of getting up. And that's the biggest problem I see with her game right now. I still think she's improving. I think this is just a big test for her. And I thought she was going to be able to pass it with flying colors, especially after watching the Denise Gomes fight against Eduarda Moura. Just really stuffed all the shit Moura had and landed big shots. I thought Veronica Hardy was going to be able to do the same. And unfortunately, it's just not what happened. She takes the L. And again, it wasn't a terrible fight. It's just, I feel like she probably should have used her leg kicks a little bit more. She kind of was stepping in too much with the boxing, and every single time that she was throwing a weak leg kick, she'd have her hands down, she'd get tagged with a big overhand. I don't know. It looked weird. If you watch the first round, you can see the exact pace the rest of the fight was going to go. Veronica Hardy, I guess, just never really entered that flow state. She just seemed like she was always a step behind. We're going to move on next on the prelims. Oban Elliott versus Basile Hafez. Very, very good fight. Arguably could have been 1-1 going into the third. Basile Hafez in the first round took some nice shots, was landing back on the feet. I thought Oban Elliott was winning all three rounds, but whatever. Basile Hafez eating very, very nice shots, was landing nice, doing some pretty step backs, doing some, some little dust off the shoulder type shit. And it was looking really, really impressive. It's just Oban Elliott caught him with the perfect punch, overhand right, and stiffed Hafez on the way down. He woke up when he hit the ground, and then just ground and pound took Basile Hafez out. I think he went out like 2 or 3 times. Mark Goddard needing to check his glasses once or twice, and then finally jumping in and saving Hafez from some more brain damage that he really didn't need to get. Oban Elliott comes out. Very impressive. Again, landing big strikes. It's just, he was getting tagged up on the feet, and when you fight guys who are better boxers, if you're getting tagged up by Basile Hafez, you better start working on that boxing, because Hafez isn't terrible. He's not completely out of pocket in being in the UFC. I know you see the loss to like Evan Cuts and stuff. Jesus Christ, with the fucking yawning. The loss to Evan Cuts and stuff. Richard Williams. The Evan Cuts fight. I mean, arguably, I think Basile Hafez won. It's just, these are early fights in his career. He's 9-5-1. I do think he's a little bit better than his record does say. I do think he belongs inside the UFC. Can maybe beat up some of those lower tier guys. It's just Hafez. He was trying to be a little bit too pretty when he needed to be down and dirty. Okay, when you're down 2 rounds and we're inside the third round, and we're starting off the third round by going back to that pitter-patch shit and following Oban Elliott around the entire octagon. This is what happens. You're following just a guy who's trying to bait you into a fucking big shot, and then he throws the big shot. Fantastic win for Oban Elliott, especially at 170. He's got decent takedowns. He's got decent hands. I mean, you're going to need a little bit more if you want to be champ or top 15 at 170, but I think Oban Elliott can get there if he really wants to. He looks like he'll be the new age. I think he just needs to, again, like I said, just maybe shoot a couple more fucking takedowns instead of standing and banging with a guy you don't need to stand and bang with. We're going on next on the prelims of Ramiz Brahima versus Mickey Gall. And exactly how I thought this was going to go. Ramiz takes out Mickey Gall in a tough fight. Not really. It was like less than 3 minutes or whatever. There you go. 2 minutes 55 seconds. I was very excited for Mickey Gall. You know, you had what is it? What's the song called? Yeah, there we go. Here. We're gonna play it real quick. Here. Oh, what the fuck is it? What is that? That sounds terrible. Oh, there we go. We'll do this for Mickey. For our guy. Alright. So, we're going to keep this in the background because I respect Mickey. Mickey Gall, most likely just retired off of this fight. Ramiz Brahima landed very, very nice right hook on Mickey Gall, sat him down, and he gets taken out with some nice ground and pound. Ramiz Brahima screams, jumps on the cage, starts screaming, Allah Akbar. I'm very happy for him. He finally got that big win that he's been looking for. Again, these guys are submission grapplers. You thought you were going to see something like Grant Dawson and fucking Pat Sabatini type shit, where like you're on the ground the whole time, you're doing like these crazy transitions and stuff. Not what happened at all. We just watched a fucking kickboxing fight where Ramiz stormed the gates and got his first ever fucking knockout in his entire career. He is a guy who literally purely has submission victories. He has a couple decision losses, and he stormed the gate and knocked out fucking Mickey Gall. And Mickey Gall, I think being knocked out a couple times before, takes the L. Mickey Gall out of the UFC most likely at this point. Switches over his record to 7-7. Decides that he doesn't really want to have a winning record inside the MMA. He would rather just have an even record. I would have quit. I would have quit at fucking 7-4. Honestly, I would have quit at 7-6. I would have quit at 7-5. But instead, we have Mickey Gall attempting to I don't know, like do something, but it's not working. Clearly, Mickey Gall looked really stiff. Looked like this moment meant a little too much for him. It looked like the consequences were very grave inside his head. Looked like he was overthinking every movement, and Ramiz just kind of clipped him. But goodbye, Mickey. We're going to move on. Next on the prelims, we have Marcin Tybura taking on Jonathan Denis. I thought Jonathan Denis, I thought he was going to lose the first round. I thought he was going to get out-grappled. And I thought inside the second and third round, Jonathan Denis was going to be able to use his kickboxing ability and take out on Marcin Tybura, who literally is off the fucking couch at this point. And he's completely over. If you look at his stomach, man, he just has a beer gut. He doesn't look like he's healthy at all. Tybura looked like he literally got called up 3 hours ago. And he wanted to fight. And Jonathan Denis loses. He loses to big fucking elbows in the end of round 2. Marcin Tybura at the end of round 1 landing nice ground and pound. Didn't land big elbows. And then in the end of round 2, he's like, fuck it. 12-6 and some other nice elbows. Whack! And just started opening up Jonathan Denis. Completely open under the left eye, over the right eye. Blood everywhere. We're about to start round 3. His face looks a lot better than the end of round 2. No more blood. We're not bleeding anymore. The cutman did a really good job. We look at the doctor. We say, hey, we're good. And then I hear him say something else, which is like, I'm a little blurry or something, but I'm good. Or it was something like that. It was some shitty thing that he should not have said to the doctor. He's like, yeah, it's something's like this, but I'm good. You can't say that. You have to just say, I'm good. No, we end the fight with Jonathan Denis complaining to the doctor, saying, "What the fuck? Why'd you stop the fight?" And the doctor's like, "You told me, bro." And then he walked away. Marcin Tybura takes a win over Jonathan Denis, takes away his donut, and wins with nasty ground and pound with elbows off the couch. Still top 15 in the world. Still proves that at 39 years of age, it doesn't fucking matter. Off the couch, you can still beat up a kickboxer. and just kind of proves Jonathan Dennis cannot deal with the high-level grappling inside heavyweight, and that he's going to need a little bit more work on them takedown defenses if he wants to be able to strike, because Jonathan Dennis gave up easy takedowns and looked like a baby on the ground, like a flopping guard, basically. I wasn't able to do anything with it. Unfortunate, but you know, it is what it is. Jonathan Dennis takes an L, and I take an L with money out of my pocket, seeing as I bet on the underdog. Next on the prelims, we have David Onama taking on Roberto Romero. Roberto Romero making his UFC debut, and it arguably looks like one of the best fucking underdogs and short notice fights that I've ever seen in my life. Roberto Romero giving David Onama a run for his money, landing big strikes inside the first round, landing big strikes inside the second round, and almost forcing David Onama to start adapting and changing his style real time. David Onama was getting cracked with some nice shots. He got dropped inside the first round. Roberto Romero gets return fired, and David Onama drops him back. But Roberto Romero arguably could have won that first round. David Onama did end up winning 30-27, I believe. But I think Roberto Romero might have won that first round. Really, really good boxing, really slick, fucking goes into the fire, does not drop his hands, lands nice, clean combos, extended combos, following David Onama, and then you go into a second round where you see him start to fade, and it's unfortunate because David Onama is so strong, and when he throws combos, it's almost like he barely throws them. He throws them with, like, little fucking intention, like he throws them super, super weak-sided, and you have Roberto Romero, who, you know, inside that first round saw that, overcame it, and we get to the second round, and he starts to just go downhill in terms of the combos, stops doing extended combinations, stops following up, stops following when he has him hurt with a right hand or something. He doesn't extend with a leg kick or something. But David Onama was landing extended combinations, 5-6 punches, landing a 1-2 on the guard, and then rips to the body with a 1-2 uppercut. Like, it's beautiful work by David Onama. I thought he was going to be able to take out Roberto Romero. Did have him really fucking hurt in that first round. Had him really hurt in the third round. I wasn't able to do it. Was even chanting at Roberto. Was like, woo, let's go, baby. I mean, they were in flow state. They were fighting very well. It's just Roberto Romero gassed out a little bit throughout the fight, and you could see David Onama was just clearly overcoming him in terms of the stamina. And Roberto Romero loses his UFC debut, but looks fucking good while doing it. David Onama had a tough time, man. Excuse me. And David Onama's a tough motherfucker. Like a tough motherfucker. So if he's giving David Onama a run for his money, he's going to be a fucking heat show at 155, and they're definitely going to give him another chance after that. We're going to move on. Next on the prelims, we had Jim A10 Miller taking on Damon the Leech Jackson. Damon Jackson moving up from 145 pounds to 155, taking on Jim Miller, who was 41 years of age, almost 42 next year. And Damon Jackson gets guillotined. He is getting pieced up on the feet. Nice couple combos for Jim. Nice couple counters for Damon Jackson. And Damon Jackson's like, no, you know what? We're going to start grappling. Let's grapple. Womp womp, that's what happens. Jim Miller sneaks in the hand under, arm in, guillotine, and we're just gonna, there we go, and just pulls on it and rips on it, and Damon Jackson almost taps instantly, waits a couple seconds and taps, and it's over. Damon Jackson does retire. He ends his 31 fight, what, is it 31? No, 32 fight career. He calls it a completion. He denies an interview from Joe Rogan. He says he doesn't want it. He just shows that he drops his gloves down in the octagon, and he has quit the UFC after losing 4 out of his last 5. Really unfortunate. Damon Jackson really improved a lot of the UFC fight nights. If you guys don't know, I mean, if you guys are casuals and you only watch the numbered cards, Damon Jackson fought at the Apex more times than I can count. And always delivered a show, always delivered 100%. Alexander Hernandez, that most recent fight this year, was a very, very intense fight, very close. I thought Damon Jackson won. It was a split decision somehow. I thought he won 29-28. But unfortunately, Damon Jackson does call it quits here after losing to Jim A10 Miller to another submission victory. Again, we're we're closing in on fucking 20, or we're actually that's 21. We're over 20 now. We're at 21 victories by submission for Jim A10 Miller, and he still sits with only 10 decision victories out of his 38 wins. That's fucking phenomenal. He's still one of the most impressive fucking things I've ever seen on this earth. 41 years of age, and he takes out Damon Jackson, who I thought was going to come in here and probably wrestle fuck him, and I took him as an underdog, seeing as it was value. He showed more than value. He showed that he's still here to fight and that he's still a fucking force. And this guy, it doesn't matter how old you are. That first round, anyone's fucking fresh. Next on the prelims, we have Marcus McGee taking on Jonathan Martinez. This is the top prelim of the night. And Marcus McGee beat up a Jonathan Martinez who was stunned. He beat up a Jonathan Martinez who had no business being in there. First 2 rounds looked almost similar to the Jose Aldo fight. Almost snake-like charm where he's following Marcus McGee's movements. Marcus McGee throws something, Martinez throws something back, and then we almost switch into the third round where Marcus McGee is starting to follow Jonathan Martinez. Martinez throws a heavy leg kick, McGee follows up, and now Martinez lands big leg kicks to where McGee can't stand anymore. McGee's right leg was so compromised, he was skipping, he was jumping up in the air like Adrian Yanez, trying to stop the fucking leg kick, and Jonathan Martinez says, "Nice, let's grapple." Why? Why are we grappling? You have him hurt. You literally have a guy on one leg. One leg! He's a one-legged fighter. He can't push off anymore. He doesn't have the power in his hands. He can't throw combinations backing up because he doesn't have the leg anymore. He can't throw a counter off the back foot because he doesn't have the power anymore. And he can't fucking back up and stop takedowns. This guy goes for a takedown on Marcus McGee. Stops it! McGee stops it because Martinez doesn't even shoot for a double, doesn't even shoot for a single, just does clinch work, backs away, and then stops throwing the fucking leg kick in the last 2 minutes of the fight. I think he threw 1 or 2. Why? Why are you not throwing that leg kick? End the fight! McGee can't walk! I don't understand why we didn't throw that. If that's me, bro, you're not even getting... I'm not even getting within a foot of you. I'm not even getting within 2 feet. I'm throwing leg kicks from fucking way far. I don't give a shit if you're throwing hands at me. Your hands don't have power anymore. Marcus McGee literally if you watch him fight, he swings everything into those strikes. Full hip rotation. He doesn't have the leg anymore, bro. He can't fucking push off. I don't know why Martinez didn't go. I would have been fucking slamming leg kicks in that motherfucker's leg the whole time. Then again, I'm not a UFC caliber fighter. I don't know what the fuck I'm talking about. But still, Jonathan Martinez threw that fight, threw it in the garbage. He was literally gifted it on a fucking plate, and he said, "Hot, I don't want that shit." All right, I guess you don't want that shit. Whatever. Jonathan Martinez looks like shit. That's all I gotta say. Looked like shit except for those leg kicks. Bring back the leg kicks, Jonathan Martinez. That's how you win. You have multiple leg kick TKOs in the UFC. Use it, bro. Jesus. Start of the main card. Mauricio Rufy versus James Linetop. If you guys did enjoy this, make sure to drop a like. Mauricio Rufy puts on a sleeper of a show. James Linetop is still durable as fuck. This dude does not get knocked out. Busted up eye. Busted. Like fucking swollen as shit. He can't see. Mauricio Rufy walks through everything he throws at him. Just walks. Just fucking, he had his hands on his hips. He was doing this shit. He was fucking doing some gamesmanship. He fucking hit him with a 1-2 and then just an overhand right, and James threw his own overhand right, and Mauricio's like, "I don't care." Boom! Fucking trade shots. It was intense. Mauricio Rufy overpowers James Linetop. I mean, it's very, very clear that Linetop won round 3. He was coming on strong. Mauricio Rufy was just a little bit gassed. Wasn't throwing as much, was getting landed on quite a bit. And James Linetop thought he won the fight, put his hands up to stop. Motherfucker, you got beat up for 2 rounds. Just put your fucking hand down. Still impressive for James Linetop. I do believe this is the type of guy that will be leaving the UFC, and we will see him in a couple years. I just think he is a high caliber fighter. He's very, very tough, very strong. Just does not have that it factor yet. He doesn't have anything that makes him special, especially at 155. Is it 155 or 170 these guys fight at? What am I? 155, that's what I thought. What? Jesus, I didn't know he missed weight by that much. Yeah, they did. Wow. Anyway, but at 155, man, you have to have a little bit of an it factor. Lightweight's a little bit stacked right now. You have to have a lot of things going for you. Mauricio Rufy has that one-shot power. His nickname is One Shot, so I mean, like, he has something going for him. James just has kind of everything, and it's all mediocre. So I would like to see him work a little bit more on his grappling. I think James, very, very good striking. I think if he can get a double leg, he'd be very beneficial in grabbing that and ground and pounding some guys out, especially at lightweight, man. You have guys that don't know how to grapple worth shit. They have takedown defense, but they don't have grappling whatsoever. So if you get them to the ground, they're kind of fucked for a round. And I think that would be more beneficial for James. Mauricio Rufy, again, no grappling whatsoever, just power striking, but I think he does have at least something better than James does, and that is that massive power, seeing as he fucking had James welted up before even the third round, so pretty bad too. We're going to move on next on the prelims. Again, I hope I see James soon. I actually like watching him fight. He's very, very strong, very resilient. The Borishev fight is indicative of that. The Rufy fight's indicative of that. It's just Mauricio Rufy's a fucking absolute animal. We're going to move on next in the prelims. Vivian Araujo taking on Karine Silva. And this is for my parlay. This was for my parlay. I had Karine Silva by decision. Not but Karine Silva in general. And Vivian Araujo takes over a Karine Silva who looks like shit. She kind of got exposed, man. Minus 300. Her grappling got exposed. Vivian showed that she can hang with the dogs, man. She's not going to get taken down like that easily. And when it comes to the hands, Karine Silva gasses. Karine Silva looked like she didn't work on her cardio whatsoever. Looked like she completely gassed in the later stages of the fight. Looked like she had nothing left inside that third round. Even the second half of the second round, she looked absolutely terrible. In the third round, she's laying on her back, waiting for the ref to stand her up every single time they get in little shitty exchanges. Like, what are we doing here? It looks so bad on the judges. Looks so bad. Vivian Araujo overcomes a big underdog Cell at plus 240 and beats up Karine Silva, who's trying to make a little bit of a run at a title after winning her last 9. And Vivian shuts her down. She proves that there's levels to this game, that she's 37, almost 38, and she's still fucking here to stay. She ain't no fucking punk. She's going to be 38 years of age in 2 days, and I'm going to congratulate her because that's a wicked fucking victory, man. I don't know Vivian Araujo. I will drop her a fucking happy birthday for sure, because that was a fantastic fight. That was one of the best fights I think I've seen this year with women. Vivian consistently was just making improvements throughout the fight, putting on a lot of pressure on Karine Silva. And I think I lost only the first round, but still put it on. It was really impressive. I really like Vivian Araujo. I really like Karine Silva. It's just I feel like she could have done a little bit more with the grappling. I feel like if she would have actually trained the fucking cardio. It just looked like she didn't train the cardio. Karine Silva looked like she was way too confident going in here. She looked like she was just ready to just mop the floor with her, and when she didn't get her early, she looked like she was starting to panic a little bit. She looked like she was trying to overdo it, you know what I mean, with the strikes, trying to like put up way too many. Like trying to add up way too many strikes in combos when you don't need to. Like, you don't need to. You just need to use your grappling and just hold. Land some nice ground and pound, and just have Vivian Araujo in a position away from the cage where she can't use it to get up. It's just not what happened. It's not the way I thought the fight was going to go, and it never is the way I think it's going to go, but it is what it is. We're going to move on next to the main card. Bo Nickel versus Paul Craig. Bo Nickel kind of got exposed. Pillow-fisted. Paul Craig didn't even fucking flinch. We thought we were going to see some big wrestling out of Bo Nichols, maybe some submission strikes, and then just some ground and pound, and Paul Craig was going to go out. Nope. We watched the most amateur kickboxing match of your life. Paul Craig throwing some nice front kicks up the middle. Arguably could have won the first round, and it was 1-1 going to the third. I mean, it was fucking horrendous. Bo Nickel looked like shit. At minus 1,400, you'd think he'd fucking take the Bear Jew out. Nope, the Bear Jew's like, fuck you. We're going to kickbox all day. You're not going to take me down, and we're going to strike for strike. Yep, that's what happened, and Paul Craig got beat up in the later stages of the fight. I thought Paul Craig won round 1. Like, it's fucking close, man. It's really close. They were trading, and I think Paul Craig actually landed more. And Nichols missing a lot of his overhands and stuff. Paul Craig again shows that he's still at the top of the heat, man. Like, he still can have these competitive fights. He can still take guys into deep waters. It's just he's not ever getting a title again. Like, he's not getting a title shot ever again. It's just not going to happen. Not in the future of Paul Craig. He's just going to be a journeyman from now on. He will be a gatekeeper, and he will choke out some fucking losers, I'm sure. Inside the UFC, Bo Nickel, I'm staying away from betting him ever again. Not touching him ever again until I see a little bit more improvement. Bo Nickel's fucking striking is horrendous. His grappling, didn't even use it. I'm not sure why. I'm not sure what we're trying to prove to Donald Trump here inside the fucking octagon. We're trying to, like, fucking suck up to him after the fight, but Whatever, man. We're gonna move on. Co-main event of the evening. It's just that fight pissed me off. Anyway, Charles DuBronx Oliveira versus Michael Chandler. Charles hurt him in the first, hurt him in the second, had him in on the ground in the third, fourth, and then Charles almost gets knocked out in the fifth, which is really impressive by Michael Chandler. Literally, like, drops hammer fists on the back of the head of DuBronx. Ref didn't say anything. I mean, I'm kind of shocked by that, but whatever. We get to the end of the fight, and DuBronx has a big smile on his face. Michael Chandler is literally standing up with Charles Oliveira on his back, like, multiple times. Charles Oliveira has complete back control, and Michael Chandler shows and proves that he is still a fucking beast, that he still has that type of strength, and he literally climbs up twice to show that he could get up if he wanted to. He just knows that he can't do anything with it. He just knows. He knows he can't do anything with it. He knows he can't get DuBronx off of him. He knows he's in the middle of the octagon, and it's not possible to get DuBronx off of you, especially when he's just fucking wrapped up on you like a fucking spaghetti noodle. Michael Chandler, man, calls out McGregor. Really sad to see that call out because it's just like, you know, he's not coming back. DuBronx gets back in the win column after his loss to Arman Tarzukian and the win over Beneil Dariush. Finally back in that win column. He's going to be making another title run, I think. Maybe fight Gaethje, maybe fight Dustin Poirier for his last fight, who knows. But Michael Chandler, again, takes it with some grace, at least. I mean, it's a loss, but he's getting paid good. You know that he put on a show. You know, we saw 5 rounds when we thought this fight was going to go under 1.5 rounds. And it was a very impressive victory for a Michael Chandler, or a very impressive victory for a Charles DuBronx, who, again, his striking's looking better, dude. His striking's looking actually better. He looked better in this fight than he did against Chandler the first time, and Chandler, like, looked better this time. He looked bigger, he looked fucking faster, and still didn't do anything to Charles DuBronx. DuBronx gets it done. I was very excited to see that, but I was also very nervous seeing as that 5th round almost ended with a crazy fucking turn of events. We're going to go on the main event of the evening. Now, this is just as sad as the Tyson versus Paul shit, honestly. If you guys did enjoy this, make sure to drop a like and subscribe if you haven't already. We have John Bones Jones taking on Stipe Miocic, and John should have finished this earlier. He should have beat up Stipe. Stipe looked like shit. Stipe looked like a shell of himself. The Stipe that fought Daniel Cormier last time around is not even close to this Stipe. This Stipe is a Stipe who's given up. This is a Stipe who doesn't want to fight anymore, and this is a Stipe who doesn't have that lingering for the fighting spirit. And you can clearly see it. John just beat the fuck out of him. John beat him up, had him really hurt inside the early rounds. Stipe landed some nice shots inside the second and third round whenever he was overextending those combinations. He was catching Jones on the outside, and then Jones just says, fuck you, hits him with a spinning back kick in the end of round 3 after landing it a couple times already and landing some nice stuff to the body previously with those, the front kicks that he always has, nice pops to the body, and he just lands a nice spinning back kick right on the kidney side and right on the rib cage and drops Stipe Miocic, excuse me, Jesus, and drops Stipe Miocic and finishes it off with some ground and pound, and it's over right away. Stipe retires, says that he's done, doesn't want to be here anymore, and John Jones hints that he wants another fight, and he wants to continue fighting at heavyweight, maybe get an Alex Pereira fight, maybe get something else. Dana White said, fuck you, you're not getting that fight. You're fighting at heavyweight if you're fighting again. So most likely we're never going to see John Jones again. This is basically a way to hold up the division and be the heavyweight lineal champ longer, seeing as but he's not the lineal champ. We're still missing the fight with Tom Aspinall, and if I see Aspinall defend the fucking interim belt one more time, I'm going to just fucking lose my shit. It's just a dumb thing. We don't need an interim belt. We have John Jones, who's absolutely shit and is going to retire after not fighting an actual fucking fight. If he fights Tom Aspinall, dude, I'll respect Johnny. If he fights Tom Aspinall, I'll genuinely respect him. He beat up a Cyril Gane who has no wrestling, literally no wrestling whatsoever, and we all knew he was going to get submitted. And then he beat up a fucking old man. He beat up a 42-year-old firefighter who's still working full-time. Thanks, John. Thank you. I still love John. He's still one of my favorite fighters. It's just, you're beating up an old man, dude. This is literally exactly like Paul's shit. It's just, Stipe has no business being in there with you. You know you're going to beat him. You know you've been training for this. You know that you want it more. You know that Stipe doesn't really want to be in there. He's just getting a bag, and you just beat the shit out of him. It's unfortunate. John Jones remains undefeated. The one from the Matt Hamill loss I still don't think exists. I still think he's one of the greatest of all time. Demetrius Johnson, George St. Pierre being up there as well. Maybe Habib, but Habib kind of left early. It's just, Johnny got it done. Congratulations. Didn't get it done in the style that I hope he would get it done eventually. I mean, I was happy to watch John Jones fight, but I was sad to see Stipe Miocic, the heavyweight greatest of all time, go out like that in a way where he looked worse than the Francis Ngannou fight, dude, and he got knocked out by Ngannou. Just saying. Anyway, that's all I got for you guys this week. Hopefully you guys did enjoy this. Again, this is a little bit of a trash card. I was kind of upset about it, but it is what it is. At least the early fights made me a little bit happy. It's just the main card was very, very tough to watch. I think I almost fell asleep a couple times, literally watching it. It was kind of tough. Again, I'll be here for Tuesday's predictions and breakdowns, maybe Monday. I will be seeing you guys Thursdays for the best bets or the betting talk, and I will see you guys Saturday for UFC Fight Night, which is actually early morning, 2 a.m. EST. It is Piotr Yan taking on Davison Figueiredo in China. And we'll be taking a look at that card soon. I don't know a lot of these guys, but we'll figure it out, don't worry. Oh my, Carlos. Oh my God, this card's stacked. Oh my Jesus. This card's actually stacked. Okay. Yeah, we're definitely going to look at that. That's all I got for you guys today. Hopefully you guys will enjoy. I'll see you later. Peace.